winter reading for Aquarius. Now, I'm not thinking of all the other hemispheres here. Our official winter, apparently, I was a little off myself here, is from December 21st to March 19th. So I will start with Aquarius for the winter of 2016. You were born to create is on your center of your universe here, and really what's going on is I think you're really if you are creating and manifesting in your world, it means you are actually getting into the flow, maybe in an introduction phase, but you're getting into the flow of things and you're starting to see how things are working, and you're starting to work from a place where you are getting it. Things are clicking. So that is a good sign that is the center that we're working from. So I think maybe curiosity has killed the ego here. The curiosity is going, hey, what do I have to drop in order to get through to this next level? Because you're seeing results, and maybe feel like you're baby stepping your way and kind of stumbling and going, okay, if I do this, this happens. And is that because of a positive mindset? Like I really do see that positive mindset kicking in here. Like there is really no sign of it. We have a little bit of fear in your along your path, but that's going to be everywhere, and people are going to have to deal with that. So I do see a little bit of a flip here, or in a tipping point is kind of almost being reached over the winter, and I feel like in the spring you'll be well on your way to going in with that flow. We don't have that card no more. That was in the last 2 readings, I think, was trying to get in that flow. So it seems like you're in. You're just kind of going, okay, what's going on now? So that's the real deal here, is trying to catch that wave and understand where you're going, where you're headed, and all of that. So that's all within you. So that's good. This is a good progression here. We're making progress. What's crossing is let go of the old. Now, that is that tug of negativity, but I don't have it in your future. So it's just a matter of shifting the energies. I think your energies are a little off. You're going to, you're not really having faith, I guess, in the process, but yet you're seeing. I mean, if we got manifestation abilities and stuff surrounding you right now, you're becoming aware that you're part of what is going to happen. So now you're going to engage in that, and I think it's kind of the flutter that turns around. At this point over the winter, you're going to kind of have a bit of a process where you're fluttering with everything. And by fluttering, I mean your curiosity is going to be piqued. You're going to be kind of, like a little child running around going, hey, this is fun. Like that kind of a thing. It's going to be something that motivates you. Not like you're hyper and the whole world is happy, but just really a curiosity that's going to pull you forward. But really what it is you've been so off for so long that this is where you need to be. It's going to be a shift. So we got an awakening here. We got at least the insight to know that this is happening because I did this, because of you. Like seeing yourself in the whole pyramid. It's and going, yeah, I really do affect everything. I really am in charge here. You got to excuse me here for my voice. This is another tip for you. I lost my voice here over the last 2 weeks. I've been trying to gear up to do videos, and that was really told to me that because I'm not speaking my truth, and not necessarily my truth by lying, but not speaking at all, kind of shutting down and not wanting to discuss anything. I get to a point like that when I get upset, where I don't want to deal with things, and your body will reflect exactly what you are doing back to you. I did not talk, so therefore I lost my voice. I refused to talk. That was my stubbornness coming through. So if anybody has lost their voice or is losing their voice and they're going like, what the hell, they need to look inside and see where is it, one, that I'm not speaking up where I should be, standing up for yourself, or discussing period. So anybody that's losing their voice, they need to speak up, and you'll slowly get it back. I'm in the process of that. Basically, you know, not having to be boisterous about it, but you cannot hold it in, and then it, you know, it goes from there to infection, and I mean, it just exacerbates. So there's a tip: losing your voice, you got to speak up. It really is that direct. I mean, your body signals are really that direct. So another thing I want to, if you find that interesting, check out Louise Hay's book, Heal Your Life, because that really does break things right down, and it really helps you look inside to see, illuminate some of those issues that you have that you didn't know you had. So anyway, there's a tip. I'll put it on my Facebook page, and then you guys can check that out. Carrying on to the reading. What is above you in your mind is be vigilant. So it seems like there's a process going on for you, and there's a certain sense of vigilance within you that, yeah, you know, I got to pay more attention here. I got to be a little more aware. So the kind of, that whole awakening thing is coming through to these Aquarians, which I thought were going to be a hard case, man. I thought these guys were not going to get it for a while here, but it seems like there's something sparking. Well, that's interesting. I tried this. It's like little hooks are getting into you in the right way, and they're going to start, and it's going to be to the point where you cannot unhook. Not only that, you cannot go backwards. And so that is the resistance. I think there's a fear there for these Aquarians that if I go in this direction, that comfort of all that negativity that you were feeling, which really shouldn't have felt comfortable for you, it is a imbalance that you got comfortable with that is, you know, kind of warped in your mind as a comfort, but it is not. It is truly not a comfort, and you need to move to the other side of things. There's an uncomfort here that you have to break through, and that may be the whole thing of going back and forth. But in order to move, you do have to go back and forth. So you'll go back to the old ways, and then you go, yeah, not quite feeling it. That was interesting over there. So you jump over there, and you go, oh, okay, that's too much. And you come back, and you know, you have this dance that you do until, you know, you're just floating across the floor, and then you're going, yeah, this is the side. This is where. Because eventually you have to train yourself into the right way. So I feel like there's just an awareness with these Aquarians. They're going, yeah, something's going on here. So they're really watching. They're watching the show and going, do I have? With an awareness. So this is good. This is what's flooding the reading. So this is good. What is passing away is let two become one. Now I feel like usually when I get this card, I feel it's for couples. Trying to get a little bit more of this inner clarity that you're starting to figure out. Communicate it to whoever's there, whether it's a friendship, a relationship, you know, like, I mean, everything's relationship, but whether it's a lover, friend, or, you know, your partner, communicate that. Not only because there's a benefit there and a reflection back to you, could be a learning lesson process. They may have the answers that you are seeking that maybe you don't want to hear, but nonetheless need to get. And it seems like there's a little bit of a block in the way of looking outward for you guys. You're kind of realizing this on your own, but scared to go outward and discuss it with anyone. A little bit of the realizations maybe coming off a little wacky, which, you know, you might, but do it with a trusted person. I mean, someone very close to you, and going, you know, like, I'm realizing these things, and just opening up, because a lot of this spiritual process, excuse me again, a lot of this spiritual process that we're going through, it's huge. It means a huge thing to the individual, but it can mean so much more once it's spread outward. And that's when you see miracles. I was trying to explain this in one of my posts on my page, but that is when you see amazing things happen. Is when you share that, because we have learned to keep it all inside, keep that information, because someone's going to take it and somebody's going to whatever. No. Someone's going to take it. They're going to learn from it. They're going to grow, and then guess what? that energy of feeling good gets bigger, gets stronger, and then it circulates, and then that grows, and it just becomes a global thing. And I mean, from my perspective and what I get, is that the flow is really a lot of acceptance for what can block your ideas of what you have. Your rigid ideas that you have, you know, when you have, okay, I got my day planned, and then I'm going to go, you know, do this, 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 and this, and then someone shoots out of there and says, okay, I got this to do, and you're like, no, I got a plan, I can't, I'm busy. And you got to work that in or not work that in. And it's your adaptation to those things coming in, because really it's the universe going, you have a plan, but you may not be going in the right direction, so this is our plan. And let's get in here and get moving. So we have to figure out how we're going to do that in the most graceful, peaceful way. And that's a lot of really what the election comes down to is, there's a plan here, but guess what? There's another plan. And people are not accepting, and you just have to accept and move on, and then it's done. You don't have no big waves. You know, the bigger the waves, the more conflict, the more it just attracts, right? So anyway, that's my rant for the politics. It's hard to keep your mouth shut, but I'm going to do it. So anyway, letting two become one here. That's really about dealing with people around you, the relationships around you that you trust, opening up and venting to them a little bit, because amazing things can happen once you do that. You can get rewarded for that. Not only in insight, lessons being made aware of, but it can really shorten down the time that you take to struggle with things. You open up to someone, and sometimes they can have the key to exactly the lock that you're looking to open, and you just didn't know it was there. You have no clue. So that is part of that going outward. So letting two become one is you're passing away. So you're having a hard time communicating with your partner or your friend or a close friend, but someone really close to you. You're having it's like that's almost like a challenge for you. Not like a barrier, but it's almost like you just choose not to do it. So I would say to rethink that, and do go outward with it. I mean, pick and choose and use discernment, but do look in the directions of others and share your knowledge, and not even your knowledge, but your questions, because you may get answers, and boom, there it is. The universe will put someone there. But I feel like this is a person that's been there for you a long time and a trusted friend. So I feel like this is something that, you know, you're not going to just go to an acquaintance and then spill it. It's something that you're going to do in the midst of someone that you truly trust, and you are going to get answers that you may not want to hear, but will definitely speed up the process of evolving for you and make you see things a lot clearer and be coming at you, and you're like, whoa, I saw this from a bird's eye view that I never saw before. You know, that was the answer I was looking for, that kind of thing. And different Aquarians are going to get different phases of that, you know, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. But I feel within that they're going to definitely get answers that will help them evolve, hard or not, you know. In your near future, see yourself in nature. So again, being, you know, again, I'm getting a lot of office people stuck in buildings with like fluorescent lighting. I'm getting it again. People that are not getting outside to refresh that, to ground them out really in a fresh air kind of a way. It just is really something that they're wanting people to do. These Aquarians are really getting sucked out, not grounding. They're not able to ground enough. So and that's a problem all along. I think basically saying with the moodiness as well, getting into those moody modes that you're in, that is from not being grounded. That's from not taking the time to go outside, knock your socks off, literally, and put them in the ground and stay there for a bit and just charge, because it's feeling that these Aquarians not only not realizing the benefits that come of that, but for a little bit of a process there. They're going to need it, because it just hits the moodiness, and then it's like, boom, it hits violence almost. You get into that violent mode, that rage mode, and it's like, no, go outside, take it off. I mean, we're having great weather up here in Canada so far. I mean, the snow hasn't even hit yet, so I'm happy. And I need to take advantage of that too. So it's just a matter of taking advantage of the weather if you're in Canada here too. But you know, going outside and enjoying that, letting it recharge you, because it absolutely will, more than you even think that it could. Your distant future, it says respect your boundaries. So along with an awareness of manifestation abilities becomes the awareness of your own limits and boundaries, and how people are affecting you, how you are affecting people. And when you get into that situation, you have to respect your own. And I feel like this is really you standing up for your own boundaries, and not in a way, because I feel like these Aquarians are going to be going, fuck off, like, get out of my face, like, you know, like, I've had enough. And you don't really, sorry for swearing, you don't really have to go that far. You just have to say, oh, that's not for me. And you literally turn in another direction. You go, that's it. I'm done. There's a way to do it where you're not creating conflict, and I think that's maybe a little bit of a challenge for these Aquarians over this time, and especially if you're not getting grounded, is to stay neat and tidy in the mouth phase. You know, it seems to be blowing off steam here, like seeing little bursts of steam flying everywhere. It's like you have a good run, and then it's like something pisses you off, and then boom, you're gone. You know, you just lose your stuff. You lose it. And so be aware that the grounding will help you regulate that. Going outside in the fresh air will help you regulate that. And also that you're going to have to pay attention to those boundaries that you're feeling. Because I get a sense that you're feeling these things like, yeah, I don't like that. And you're thinking it in your head, and you're going, I just don't like what they just said to me. But you're not speaking it. And you're not making them aware that they shouldn't do it again, so they're going to do it again. Now, people will you can go to them and say, yeah, I don't like that, can you not do that? And then they'll come back at you and you go, I told you I didn't like that, don't do that. Just in that boundary setting, it may be a pisser to kind of do this over and over, because some people are pretty thick-headed and they do get in that way, and these are maybe people that need to go, period. They need to go away from you. But in this boundary setting, you're going to realize, where is it that I need to go? Where do I need to go here, or do I need to go there? And you know what? This is not working. That needs to get out. You know, get out of here. So it's a matter of really all of that coming together, which it's really a good thing. I mean, I'm seeing these blowouts. I'm seeing all of this stuff. But the ups and downs, and I know I'm been through this process of highs and lows. You know, having a good week, and then someone takes you off. That is there for you to even out. Eventually you'll get to the point where you're just not being affected the way you were before by all of this stuff, you know. And that is really the key, is to really level out, to balance. It seems to be a key they're bringing at me anyway. Balance everything. Your emotions, your mind, and your work, your family, you know, all of that. You got to balance. There's got to be a balance. So really, I think that's really what you're going to be, maybe into the spring yet too. I'm flipping over into the next reading here, but that's going to be a lot more in tune, where you're going to be like, yeah, I'm all over the place, and I got to, you know, a realization that you got to balance it out. But for now, setting the boundaries and standing up for them, the maintenance on that, that's what you need to do. You need to stand up and you say some of those things that you're thinking, not all of them, because some of them can be nasty. But say some of those things you're thinking, and then let it out, and let it out in a constructive way. Like, really try and think about it in the day before, because you are that person that goes, yeah, that person comes at me tomorrow, they're gonna get it, they're gonna get this. And instead of going, I'm gonna give them, you know, blow their hair back, say something that is constructive, that they can walk away with something and go, yeah, maybe I did, or they can walk away pissed. It doesn't matter, because some people you don't get through, and that's fine. But it'll make you see. I think putting up the boundaries and sticking to the boundaries and maintaining the boundaries is going to be a little bit of what your winter, your farther part of your winter, February, March, is going to be about. Is really letting these people know what it is that you're not standing up for and you're not going to put up with, because a lot of it's been silence, like you just biting your tongue and looking at these people with evil eyes. Well, this is just not going to do any good. You got to say it. And if they get pissed off and leave, well then guess what? Whew, I got a weight lifted off of me. I don't have to deal with that no more. And that's really the effect that you could have, and you're not thinking in that direction. You're just thinking, they're going to come at me. Well, they're going to come at you because you haven't set your boundaries. So that's what you need to do. Boy, I'm getting wired into the energy of these Aquarians. It can be quite feisty. Quite feisty. So you need to diffuse some of that by solving, by saying, by communicating. That's really the key here, is communicating it in a way that is not conflictive, in a way that's, like I said, you give them something to chew on as they walk away. You know, and think about that. Think about giving them something that'll make them think, rather than make them lash out at you. And that, maybe that'll help, I don't know. So, as we go along the line here through this whole process, it's know your fears comes up. So, I'm not getting a clear sense whether your fears are going to come up or just realization of what it is that... I think there's a lot of overviewing here for these Aquarius. I think they're coming into a zone where they may be in quiet, maybe not quiet, but in contemplation and kind of noticing. There's little tinges here. It's just the little sparks starting for them. So knowing your fears is a lot of what really has to drive you, because you really have to go into your fears instead of away and around them. And that is a hard thing to do, because that's, you know, that's what we've learned all along. So it's really counterbalancing the fear, running from the fear and going into it. You just do find... you find that there's more amazing things can happen, and not only that, it just dissolves so much anxiety and so much stress when you just go straight into it. It's like, boom, there it is. Okay, yeah, what I was worried about this? No, this is not the way, you know, that's what it is. And the longer you let it stress you out, the more there's an imbalance there. So knowing your fears, just going into them, being aware of them. I think really the process here is just you being aware and starting the process of, what do I do with that now that I know these things are scaring me, these are my fears, now what do I do? Kind of like that. That's what your winter is going to end up with. Embrace the masculine. Knowing your fears and embrace the masculine. And I feel like a lot of these males coming through, these Aquarian males, I feel like they're really letting their fears overwhelm them, overcome them, and that's what they're hiding from. And so, for the feminines, I feel they may have to kind of take a stoic, more of a stoic stance. Maybe not stoic so much as taking a stance, you know, with those boundaries, and bringing from the masculine side of things the idea of not really being trod upon. And I know it's masculine, feminine, I mean it could be a sexist comment, but really what is known to be a masculine trait is to really stand up, be in charge, and not take no bull, right? So the feminine Aquarians here are really going to have to start stepping into that. And the masculines, I feel they're really chained to the fear, and that is what is really stopping them from becoming balanced in that masculine energy. I feel there's an imbalance because they're hiding from the fear and not exposing or speaking from it either. They're not exposing, speaking from. There's a difference between hiding in fear and then voicing it and still hiding. Because when you voice it, then you get solutions from other people. I mean, it just comes at you. When you sit there in that barrier, that's kind of like evil's daydream, you know. They want you to sit by yourself. They want you to stew about it. They want you to anxiety, you know, cause anxiety about it. They really want you to deplete. So how do you just lift that? You go outward with it, and you let other people help you. I mean, certain people cannot do that, but they should, because that will help the process. So I'm feeling that the masculine really has to admit they have fears, and they have to not only that, kind of voice their opinion and say, yeah, you know, I do have fears, and this is a fear of mine, and not in a vulnerable way. You're going to feel vulnerable because you have no idea how you're supposed to feel. But the masculines need to embrace their fears and speak outward from that, and not in fear, but yeah, just acknowledgement of it. And the feminines need to embrace the masculine traits of standing in their power and not being so passive, not being so put upon. They're really, really feeling these feminine Aquarians are really letting life tromp all over them. So they really just have to stand up and go, yeah, no, that's not my bag, man. That's not. And then, oh, okay. You know, there may not be as conflictive as your mind can come up with. So then, moving on here, we have be patient. It's funny because that little bugger did not want to come upright. So being patient is not a virtue of yours. It's going to be hard to gain the patience because you're going to want instant results. You're going to want, and you are wanting instant results, but there's kind of, you know, you can get on the sidelines, you kind of get whipped by a few branches along the way. It sets you back, or, you know, you start to have the waves crashing at your back, but you're going to have to be patient with the process because the exposure that you get is directly related to the effort you put in, and there's got to be a long strain of effort coming. And with these Aquarians, I see them just jumping back and forth. So your ability to do that prompts this thing of not quite filling the gaps. You know, you feel like, well, I'm in the flow, let's go downstream, like, let's go. But the problem is that, you know, you got to realize, you got to have that contrast to realize what is here and appreciate what's here. And that's the whole process. That's part of the process. That's the whole stream too. So being patient, you're going to have to work at that. It's not going to be easy. I feel like it's in you. It's just you're going to be fighting it. So yeah, like I said, I when I was putting the cards out, I just flipped right around and I'm like, oh, okay, I have to note that the patience not going to come easy. But also working, you know, a lot of things, a lot of lessons that you have to work on. I mean, patience is not something I'm good at either. So, and then of course I'm an Aquarius Pisces cusp, so that makes sense for me. Patience is not easy. Now the outcome. Change is unavoidable, and this is you will be fighting change. Now, having said that, know that there is change on the way. Know that it can be, I don't want to say like, the change can be fluctuation. There's going to be huge fluctuation, but do not take it as a negative. I feel like the warning here is this really can be taken as a positive, and you don't have to search that far and wide to see it as a good thing. You just have to kind of surrender, lean back into the goodness of it. But also, if you make your mind up to cause chaos, that is exactly what will explode through this, is huge chaos. So it is unavoidable. So lean into it, or lean away from the chaos and lean into the submission of the change. You know, you got to submit to the change. It's going to happen. You got to go with it. That is that. So fighting is really not going to change. because you know the fighting is not going to change the situation. It has changed. You have a reaction, you have a control over what you can react from, and you need to do that. You need to back off. I feel like a lot of this frustration, if you're communicating over the winter, the back part of it, the February, March, is not going to be as chaotic. It's going to be a little more smooth. If you're communicating, if you're going outward with your fears, and maybe not your fears so much as just communicating outward. Because you're really getting a warped sense of you by staying inside your own mind. And it's not even, may not even be rational, you know, to the outside world. You got to really get that perspective back where it needs to be, and let those people influence you in that way. Don't go, oh, that's goofy. Your mind is really playing tricks on you. It's really doing a number. Stay away from the media. Stay away from TV. Get your mind back. Get, you know, get outside and get balance. There's a little bit of an offset there, and so we need to get back on track. Hey, I'm an Aquarius. I'm not trying to punch punch the lights out of people here, but this is what I'm getting. So I just need to enforce it. So that's the reading. Now, what's the clarification card? I get the Condor. You're too immersed in this situation. So step back to see the bigger picture before making any decisions or taking action. So that's a lot of that, see this change that's coming. And I feel like not only is it just for these Aquarians, you know, maybe a personal or business or something that's changing. It's kind of a major thing, kind of I'm saying, but it is a major thing. It's change. Is kind of taking that step back to, it's kind of that surrender message that I was getting, is kind of, you know, lean away from it. Don't be so in it because you can't see straight. So lean away from it, let it come in, and and accept it. You know, you don't have to be happy with it, but you can accept it, and you can move on and carry on. And I feel like there's, like these sparks that are for these Aquarians, it's just a beginning process here of opening your eyes to seeing what really matters, what really should be influencing you instead of what has been influencing you and causing a ruckus. You need to get away from that stuff. Get away from all those things that causes the ruckus. If it's friends, get rid of them. Like, this is the time to do this. This is a time of change, so get in gear with that. Because the more that you fight that, the more it's going to create chaos for you. And not only that, these people are going to be stuck to you for a while. There's a little bit of that peeling away energy. You know, birthing a new process energy coming for everybody, all the signs. It's you know, with this super moon that even come through that in November here, 14th. This is part of the peeling away. It's part of shedding skin, if you will. And the more you know, housekeeping you do at that time to get rid of the muss and the pus, the better and clearer you'll see after that point. So yeah, the Condor, that's interesting. But you know what, I'm really realizing here, there's a progress made. There's a, maybe the switch has not been flipped, but the dimmer's starting to go on, you know, it's starting to come up. And it's just the realization that there is more here that I am in charge of than I realize. And that is the thing. It's not out of your control. It's 100% within your control. It's just a matter of figuring that out. And I know for me, that is the thing. It's always somebody else is doing somebody else. And the minute that you do that, you put the control in someone else's hands, then you do feel powerless. You will feel powerless, and you will act from that. And that is where the rage and all of the outbursts happen. So you have to, you know, go back into yourself, take that control, and then go outward with it. And the way that you do that is to communicate your truth to others, and then it will come back, and then the process of learning begins. You know, that's really the only way the universe can communicate to you, is through others, because a lot of times these Aquarians are not listening. They're on a road, and whatever, you know, your instinct is just not connected, so they're trying to get you connected, and it's starting. It's starting. There's an awareness here that's starting, so that's a good that's a good sign, because like I said, I didn't think I didn't think these Aquarians are coming through. They're going to be a hard nut case, but it looks like it'll be coming. It's starting, and a lot of the energies are supporting that. So just know that any of your changes that you make, in the ways that I've kind of stated them here, if you're latching on to that, just give it a try and see how it works, and let me know. So that is the Aquarius reading for the winter of 2016. So that's December 21st to March 19th for those in different parts of the world. Take care, have fun, and be kind.